we're going to be doing today is this is a panel, and so we're going to have, first of all, Jesse from Amway going to come on up here and talk a little bit about the Amway implementation. Then we're also going to have Keith Niesner of LCRA come on up and talk about their implementation at LCRA. And then finally, Dennis Busby is going to come up and talk a little bit about BI Consulting Group in general and how we really work with our customers to provide good user adoption.
We're very focused on the customer. We want to make sure we're working on the right things. It's business driven. I mean, BI, right? It should be business driven. We want to do things that the business want us to do, not what we want to do.
Hi, my name is Jesse Stoudemire. I'm a business intelligence architect at Amway. If I were to break down the key point of user adoption, it would be staying focused on the customer's requirements.
A little bit about the company. It was founded in '59. It operates in over 80 countries, revenue $8.2 billion, and 13,000 employees. We've been using OBIEE in particular for 8 years. It was actually Enquire when we first got it, then it went to Siebel, and now finally OBIEE. We have 39 subject areas, roughly 45 public dashboards. On those dashboards, roughly 500 dashboard pages. A little less than 13,000 attributes and metrics. We run roughly 9,000, a little bit less on average, queries per day, and roughly 240, 250 concurrent users. We saw that early on, we had a handful of, 5 to 10 really sound users who would use the system every day, but outside of that, you'd see where people would hop in, kind of use it for a week or two, and you'd never see them again. And we wondered why. We thought we built something very useful, but we weren't seeing the adoption rate we really wanted to see. So we started asking some questions. And a lot of the responses we got was, we log in, we just see this mountain of data and information, and we don't know what it means, or we don't know what this data attribute is actually telling me. Of course, I'm sure everybody's gotten the whole performance thing. Hey, I issue this query, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to come back. I get frustrated, I'm not going to use the system, I'll figure out some way else to get the answers I need. What we also found in doing some initial questions was end users didn't want to go to IT to answer questions. They felt silly. They thought it was such a simple question that they didn't want to come to IT to answer that. They feel much more comfortable going to a colleague to get some of those questions answered. So the SMEs are the first point of contact for any questions of that user's functional area. They also approve any access into OBIEE. It's no longer an IT function. Of course, IT grants the access, but they no longer approve any type of access. We determined early on you really need a two-pronged approach. Tool training and data training, right? So tool training is, hey, how do I create a report? How do I create a chart? How do I create a dashboard or a pivot table, right? And then there's data training. Hey, what does this particular piece of data mean to me? What is it actually telling me? What type of analysis can I do around this particular metric? So then what we also came up with, and this has been great for us, is this notion of these surveys. We send them out quarterly. We send them to the top 50 users. We found that's a pretty good sampling for our environment. And it's extremely simple. It's basically 4 questions. It's what subject areas do you work in, what's going well, what's not going well, and what do you see as our largest opportunities. And then what we'll do is we will gather all those responses, and as a BI team, we will get together in a whole and analyze those results. And by analyze, what I mean is we'll actually read the responses, and then we categorize them into groups. These are the categories we found to be the most common that we can group our responses into. Some of these I'm sure make sense in your world, some of them maybe not. So after we've surveyed or did the analysis on the responses, from that we derive 2 or 3 improvement projects is what we call them. So we look at what our customers are saying we need to focus on, and we as a team determine what can we do internally to address those opportunities.
New software, is very emotional to a lot of people, but we had to get control of our data and what was going out the door. And so we were very successful with using this tool.
My name is Keith Meisner. I work for the Lower Colorado River Authority in Austin, Texas. I'm a business systems analyst, and I manage the functional side of our data warehouse and the OBIEE platform. We implemented the financial analytics module of the OBIEE tool in 2006, and we're currently working on bringing in water retail billing data from a CIS system and integrating that not only with other pieces of offline unstructured data, but back into our financial analytics module.
We have dams, we have hydroelectric power, we manage the rivers and lakes in Central Texas, the water reservoirs. We have over 3,300 miles of transmission lines. We have power plants. It's kind of a diverse organization. Adoption comes slowly, and you have to be so customer focused. But at the same time, I think with us, we just faced a real challenge of people going in and looking at data, not really necessarily understanding what it was, and then just reporting on it. We got our biggest user adoption from just strong management, and then actually just forcing the tool set, not necessarily down their throat, but actually providing good reporting. So oftentimes in Excel, you'll slice and dice the data, but you've never really come out necessarily with a strong set of reporting. You've come out with a strong set of work, but not necessarily like, a really clean set of user reporting. We immediately cut all access to the source systems. We took all ability to download data away from them in the OBIEE tool. It was a very difficult process. We involved as many people as we could at a respectable level on the project. So when they implemented it, they felt that this was their tool. So they actually came on supporting it immediately. We have education that is provided actually by DICG. We insist that users take the training before they receive system access. Now, users find that they don't have data errors as much on their own reporting, so they actually trust the system more. And I think that's something that they trust the dashboards more. They trust that, everything that's coming out of the source system that's supposed to actually gets in there.
My name is Dennis Busby, and I'm an account manager at DICG. If I were to break it down to my opinion of what would be the biggest thing for user adoption, just one key thing would definitely be executive sponsorship, just so they can have the user adoption rate throughout the enterprise. So once you have the executive sponsorship, then it's naturally things are going to fall into place. If things aren't happening, executives can always make it happen.
As far as a system integrator, engaging a system integrator, what I think is a good approach is go through, have training, and then enable your trainers, whoever you sent to do your repository development, that type of thing, get some system integrator there so they start off on the right path and they do things correctly from the get-go. So you don't come in a year later and then you need to go in and do a lot of rework. So you're saying, oh, we did this, and we did it because that's the only way we knew how to do it. Now there is a better way. Leveraging someone that's been there and they definitely have a good methodology on gathering requirements and then building to those requirements in a best practice approach.
I think we need to give a big round of applause to our panelists. They did a wonderful job. They're obviously passionate about business intelligence, along with myself, so I loved all the content and what we heard today. It was a great session. Thank you all very much.